big technology companies remain at the center of this entire conversation, which is really how do you regulate large internet platforms in the digital age? And we're using mostly tools that were invented in the 18 and 1900s, at least in the US, to try and regulate these platforms. The same, antitrust regulations that was used, for the railroads and oil companies and telecommunication networks, which certainly have their purpose, but really doesn't get at the heart of some of the core challenges in the internet age, which is data privacy. Who owns your data and your information? How do you have access to it? How can you control or revoke information that might be in one of these platforms? So we really need modern internet regulation. Certainly in the U.S., we lag behind Europe in some cases around things like the GDPR regulation. We have, in some cases, state-by-state approaches. In California, we have the CCPA law, which somewhat resembles GDPR. But in general, we need to take a national approach to how do we think about data privacy, the compliance around maintaining and adhering to data requests, and then ultimately, how do we make sure that the internet rules of the road are well understood by all the different players in the ecosystem, and then we have the right kind of guardrails in place to protect consumers and to protect businesses.
Aaron, last time we spoke, I believe we were talking about the ring fencing of TikTok US users, and since then the story's moved along. The European regulators concerned about the dominance of some of those Silicon Valley names. Chinese regulators are also concerned about the size of some of their technology giants and the moat that's been forming. Are we talking about shrinking some of these American players and also extracting more of the profits and handing them over to society in the form of technology taxation?
Well, I think, certainly there are some state AGs in the US that are talking about breaking up some of these big technology companies. Personally, I don't necessarily think that is the right approach in this particular case. I think that the size of these companies in terms of their market cap and the amount of employees and customers they have certainly fits for flashy headlines and shows how important these companies have become, especially during COVID and when the world has moved more digital. But I think the fundamental issues that we have around competitive marketplaces and protecting the information that we see and protecting our data privacy, those are much more issues where there just don't happen to be laws or regulation for how this should work in the internet age. So it really has less to do with the size of the company and more to do with our rights as internet users. And we haven't all collectively figured that out across multiple countries. This is why you see lots of challenges around data sovereignty and the request to be able to access data in different countries. We just don't really know what the rules of the road should be on a global basis in the internet age. And certainly in the US, I don't think we've made enough progress in the past 4 years on some of these major important topics that are highly interdependent with other countries. They're geopolitical in nature, and we need to collaborate around the world to be able to go and resolve these challenges.